When talking about HBCUs, I hope there's one thing that we all should understand. HBCU conferences in the FCS are under the FCS. And if a couple of HBCUs decide to go to the FBS, they will be under the FBS. So what's the difference? Not too many far off. The only main difference is the FBS has more money. The FBS has the TV contracts. And if you play in bowl games, your school gets paid. Unlike the FCS in the playoffs, your school ain't making money. Matter of fact, the Celebration Bowl is the only thing that you get paid from bowl-wise, game-wise, in the postseason in the FCS. I mean, really get paid millions of dollars. And I'll chime in. What's good, everyone? This is Raw Truth Media, giving you the raw content that you deservedly need. Please like and share this video. So, a couple days ago, after the Titus Bordeaux interview, and if you haven't seen it, check it out. That young man did a great job. I mean, a great job being 16 years old, answering all the questions. Shout out to Titus. So after the interview, on that same string, me and the family, the Raw Truth family that is, we talked about possibilities for HBCUs. And the possibility of some HBCUs, most likely the blue bloods of HBCUs, will take chances to go to the FBS. It's going to bound to happen. Some comments have been forward thinking, progressing. And then others are making excuses. The excuses are, oh, you got to win FCS championships. That is a lie. And matter of fact, I sent a link in the comment section to prove that notion wrong. Of all the FCS schools that made the jump to FBS, not all of them were winners. But what have I told you? It's about growth potential. But the funny part is, to the shines who say, I may not know what I'm talking about, or any other content creator doesn't know what they're talking about. All besides the name calling and not having solutions, they'll make you think that the FCS was for our culture, our community. They'll make you think that the FCS is an HBCU league. The FCS is no different than the FBS. The only difference is they don't make as much money than the FBS. Let me say that again. The FCS is no different than the FBS. The only difference is they don't make as much money than them. Matter of fact, and shout out to ncsasports.org for these stats. In the FBS, you can have 85 FBS scholarships, which are full scholarships. In the FCS, you can only have 63 FCS scholarships, which are partial, most of them. So 63 scholarships are half of them partial scholarships. The first 2 years or the back end of the 2 years. So you see why Coach Prime had to help other players transfer. When they're recruiting more and they're trying to get top-notch talent, then they had to move and shake the roster. In the FBS, hypothetically, if Jackson State, FAMU, Grambling Tennessee State, and many more, South Carolina State, whoever, Prairie View A&M, if they ever decide to go to the FBS, you'll have an 85 full scholarship limit. And do you know that the walk-ons you can add to your roster, your overall roster, scholarship to no scholarship, is 120. But in the FCS, the scholarship to no scholarship range, the total is 104. That's a big difference. Now you may say, oh, that's just 20 more players in the FBS. Trust me, that goes a long way. That goes a long way, especially for depth. That's why when FCS teams, now some of them may pull off upset, but majority of them, when they play against the FBS team, what happens? Y'all know what happens. It gets to the fourth quarter, and the FBS team that you're playing is rotating their roster, their depth. They put fresh bodies in while your team is huffing and puffing. There's a fresh lineup there where there's offense and defense in a rotation to do their job. Those are the difficulties. And Coach Prime, in his infinite wisdom, and many more coaches who may not have said it but thought it in HBCUs, they want to do something that's new. They want to do something that's bigger than themselves and not trying to settle and be complacent. The reason why most teams have not moved because they're comfortable. They're comfortable with the same old stuff. Not being a juggernaut. And Coach Prime wants to be a juggernaut. I'm sure North Carolina A&T, they want to go to the FBS one of these days and one of these years. It becomes something as well. I don't think people realize being the first HBCU to be an FBS team is a big deal. I don't care who says it, because no one has done it before. No one has done it before in HBCUs. So all the people making excuses saying why you shouldn't go, there's going to be one team or more teams that decide. The first team that goes, they don't care. They're not going to care what you're going to say about them or the obstacles. They're going to do it. Example, if FAMU decides to go to the FBS, they're going to do what's best for their school and not give a damn. I can't believe I'm hearing some of the chatter on this subject, and people act like you're going to lose your culture if you go to the FBS. But they fail to realize the SWAC, MEAC, and other schools and other leagues are part of the FCS umbrella. So what's the difference? And for those who don't know my background, hoop jargon and others know me very well. I'm a Houston native. I live in Washington State right now, but I'm a Houston native. Born and raised in Houston. My father was an alumnus of Prairie View A&M. I got cousins, aunts, uncles that either went to PV or Southern to get their law degrees. This is all I've known. So for those who are saying, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, it just got popular for you. No, I've been raised in it. I know my history. I know my family's history. And we have love for HBCUs. But we also don't want HBCUs to think that what we're doing right now is just good enough. There's no such thing as good enough. Now, credit to Coach Prime. He has popularized HBCUs and wanted to go to HBCUs. I want to talk about HBCUs. Let's keep it a buck. But let's not stop there. And for North Dakota State, My advice for your school, find a way to go to the FBS. You know the FCS is easy for your team. It's like clockwork. And you may win it all again. I'm dead serious. They may win it all again. I wouldn't be surprised if they beat Arizona. Realignment is a real thing. And a lot of teams are going to get left behind. Look how many FCS teams are trying to move up. That should tell you something. That should tell you all that you need to know. The money is going to increase. And if you don't have a TV deal, a good one, you're going to get left behind. I'm not saying that North Dakota State is going to be like Alabama or Georgia in the FBS. But if they go to the American Conference or the Mid-American Conference, like Bowling Green and those conferences as well, you never know. Sun Belt, you never know. I doubt Conference USA. I don't think North Dakota State will move for that conference, but you get what I mean. They'll be one of those respected teams, and would it surprise me if North Dakota State could be like a Boise State? If they move up in the FBS, it wouldn't surprise me at all. They'll have increased recruitment. You don't have to have these FCS politics telling you how many scholarships you can have on your roster, how many you don't have to worry about that in the FBS. 85 full scholarship players on your roster. And then you have an extra 20 plus to 30 walk-ons. And more talented walk-ons who would have had offers at other smaller D1 areas. This is what it's all about. You got to take chances, man. The great teams, they take chances, no matter what level. I'm just keeping it real with y'all. Not everybody can be Nick Saban and Kirby Smart that are winning championships right now. But the goal to moving up to the FBS is becoming your own brand beyond what it is. To not have limitations. Can you imagine if Coach Prime never had a scholarship limitation? Like if it's just 85, like I just told you about FBS, and you can add walk-ons who are talented, man, you talking about a team that would be loaded. Or FBS teams negatively recruiting Jackson State or other schools, FAMU, etc., saying you won't be able to play against anybody. They can't say that if you're in the FBS. No matter what conference. I mean, it could be even a Conference USA. It could be just an independent. You could just be an independent scheduling random teams. And no opposing team can make that excuse. Or try to sneak this a rival recruiting team. You can no longer say that anymore if that happens. Just keeping it real with y'all. But before I go, I just want to say we got to have more open conversations without trying to be too sensitive. Because it's all about facts. It's not how you feel. I feel like being a millionaire, but I'm not a millionaire. I feel like going to Bora Bora every year. You know that's not possible. And let's go with what the truth is. The truth is every single HBCU university is going to do what's best for them. And they're going to try to be the first in something. And they have pride. And back to FAMU. FAMU has pride. And if they get their AD situation right, would it surprise me they could be the first HBCU to go FBS? No, it would not surprise me. Nor is Tennessee State and many others at North Carolina A&T. Just keeping a buck with y'all. This is Raw Truth, and I'm out.